Hey y'all, it's Enemy K-Man. Today I'm going to be reading the 43rd episode of Gegege no Kitarou. And before I talk about this episode, I gotta say, Toei really loves the whole narrative of fathers overworking and them neglecting their daughters, because we saw this in the Kappa episode, the Sarakoza episode, and then this is the third time this theme is brought up, which I have no issue with that. These episodes are typically great. And progressively, these episodes with these type of themes just get darker and darker and darker. Probably tell you once, I don't know, maybe someone in the writing staff probably had a dad that didn't care for them, and they're probably just emphasizing this in the episode and just having it, expressing it and into these episodes. But you know what? Even if that isn't the case, these episodes are fucking awesome, so I have no complaints there, because it was that kind of episode again, and I fucking loved it. Now, I gotta say, this episode was nice, because I like how in this episode, it sets up a situation where Kitarou, at least for the first time in the series, he actually has to kill a fucking human, so that right there already makes it darker than usual, because even though, yes, Mikoto's father does use this drug that makes him into like a vampire-like yokai that has to be killed, it's a nice change of pace, because this was a yokai that was originally human and that still had human features. So when Kitarou actually had to kill the Adoro yokai, it actually felt kind of sad, because it was a real human that he killed that actually had a daughter for the first time. And then I like how it actually showed the weight of those consequences. Because you had Kitarou earnestly pray at the man's grave, and then the daughter tell Kitarou that I'll never forgive you, and they just ended off in a dark-ass tone. So I'd say for these reasons, this episode was great. It showed us more sides to Kitarou, that events do have weight into his psyche sometimes, because that's something Gegege no Kitarou rarely shows off. Like, that was something I actually wanted from the Gyoki episode. I would have loved to see Kitarou actually do that kind of stuff and visit the graves of people he may have indirectly killed. But to see him actually visit the grave of someone he killed, even though Kitarou was in the right, because the Adoro yokai would have just killed more and more people, just seeing him actually reflect on him was nice. So that's why I felt this episode was great. It did Kitarou's character justice, especially since he did try to think of a solution to try to get Adoro back into a human, but nothing was working. So that was cool. And I did like the realism of Mikoto, Onazuki's daughter, because you actually had her fucking think of dark solutions, like using Twitter-like feeds to try to find a location for people's suicide so that she can feed these bodies to her father so that he can still live. But when Diablo even brings up the ethical point of, that's the blood of peoples that are dying, like, that isn't right. I love that scene right there, because it just surely showed that there's really no other way to deal with the situation. Kitarou has to kill Mikoto's father, and I like that. It just felt like it had much more impact out. They didn't just automatically go to, oh, let's just kill the fallen. No, let's think of solutions, and when there's no solutions, yep, gotta pull the trigger. So I liked that too. It made the episode really, really somber. And say really the only downsides about this episode narratively, like, there was a sequence where Mana was trying to help look for Mikoto's father, and then she was literally told by Kitarou to run away, and she doesn't run away. She just stays there like a dumbass, which is stupid, because usually Mana is smarter than this. We have seen her in other episodes, and yet Toei stupefied her for that single sequence, which would have helped Neko and Kitarou take out the Adoro yokai, and it would have made the fight much more easier. So that's why I felt the writing was, at least in that sequence, it was lacking. And then when Kitarou was put into like a position where he was being pinned by Adoro, literally I was just screaming at the screen, Kitarou, just use your body lightning attack who utilized the lightning bot? It was some yokai a few episodes ago that possessed Kitarou's body, and Kitarou when he was possessed by that evil yokai, and when Kitarou was in Neko's body, and he had Kitarou pinned. He had that evil yokai pinned down, and then Kitarou's body used the lightning attack. I was expecting Kitarou to do something like that. Like, what was the point of totally showing off that ability in a previous episode, and then they don't have Kitarou use that same fucking ability? That shit don't make sense to me. I felt that the action sequences had plot holes. And that's what kept this episode from being 10 out of 10 status for me. And then aside from that, it kind of feels shoehorned that Mana was friends with Mikoto, thinking about it. Because I didn't mention this in reaction, but on reflection, because it's like, well, yeah, Mana didn't hang out with Mikoto, but this is like literally the first time we've actually ever seen Mana interact with this chick. Then all of a sudden they have some kind of friendship, and it's like, I felt like this episode could have avoided that possible plot hole if they would have just had Mikoto be a regular girl, and then it could just end up in all this fighting situations, and it could have been Kitarou and Mana just saving a regular bison, and it would have avoided a good amount of plot holes. And that would have made this episode a 10 out of 10. So I felt like this is one of the few episodes where using Mana was to the deterrent of the show. Not saying Mana herself is a bad character, but in this instance, she wasn't well utilized. So that was a weakness of this episode narratively. But other than that, the ending sequence of this episode was great itself, and everything in the and all the build-up was good. So that's why I'm still going to rate this episode a 9 out of 10, because Mikoto was still memorable. Mikoto's father was memorable, and Kitarou having to do gray area things like having to kill a human possessed by a yokai was actually a nice change of pace. We've never seen Kitarou directly do that before. And that's why this episode is a 9 out of 10 episode for me. And yeah, these are pretty much my thoughts. Oh, and while the animation was nothing to hit home about, it was still average, and the art was nice, so didn't lose points off of that, and the voice acting performances were great. And that's why this episode was really good, and I liked it. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Come down and get thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and reactions, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more. Alright, take care everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.